Yes, where we go, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
So how are you doing today?
I'm very fine. Thank you very much.
You can see over your feet that you're looking so wonderful today.
We thank God.
So, briefly, just tell us a little about yourself and your journey into the civil service as a permanent secretary.
Well, we thank God for His mercies and for the opportunity that we are alive today to begin the journey of retirement. I started working with the old Ondo State government on the 18th of December 1987, and by the 18th of December 2022, I will have worked with government for 35 years, and that is the maximum number of years that we can work with government. And in another 3 weeks too, by the 26th of December, we'll be clocking 60 to make also the retirement age. I began working as an education officer, but before then I had cut my teeth at the University of Ife, where I got a first degree in English and a master's in international relations. First degree 86, master's degree in 88, and ever since, from then I also, after 2 years, changed from education officer to becoming an administrative officer in 1990. That's the job I've been doing to date, and I rose through the ranks from a level 8 officer to level 9 to level 10 to level 12 to 13 to 14, 15, 16, which is the highest grade level you can reach at my level. And by the grace of God, sometimes precisely December 24 in 2014, I was sworn in by the then Governor of Ekiti State, Mr. Ayodele Fayose, as a permanent secretary in Ekiti State. That position I have been holding till this retirement age.
Wonderful. Any highlights of your upgrading?
Any
highlights of upgrading?
Upbringing?
Yes.
Yes, I am from Ilukweju, Ekiti, in Oye local government. My mother, late Cecilia Olorunfemi, from Oye town, from the royal family, Monodowa family in Oye, and my dad from Ilukweju, who also was a strict disciplinarian. He brought us up, quite a lot of us, including siblings, the children of his brothers and sisters. We grew up knowing ourselves at the Wesley College Practicing School, Elekuro, Ibadan. From there we dispersed, went to schools, and my father was a lecturer at the Wesley College then. He became a member of the Ondo State House of Assembly during Ajashin's time, and of course he rose to becoming the principal, and he retired as the principal and became a member of the House of Assembly in Old Ondo State, and he's also late too.
Oh, wonderful spirit. What motivated you to change your course?
The truth of the matter is that
and then law.
Yes, the truth of the matter is that when you left school, university, the first thing you wanted to do was get a job. Then, I mean, talking of 35 years ago, because the jobs were not there to be picked. When I first finished in 1987, that was when I first finished in 85, the jobs were not there. As a matter of fact, we did some little things on the streets there in Akure We did the public works program, where of course we were being paid 200 naira per month for special public works, and I think it was a federal government program just to keep people just coming out then, something to do. There are so many of us, there are about all friends, all of us scattered around now, and so the first one that came was the education officer, for which I was employed on the 18th of December, which I spoke about. But then we knew that the future of the service is becoming an administrative officer. In those days, it was only administrative officers that could become directors general or permanent secretaries. These days, things have changed. It was that kind of set of people that could become permanent secretaries. So that was the doing of the service then. That was places where you have seen wonderful names. So the urge as a graduate was to cross over to becoming an administrative officer, which of course you had to go through some rigorous exercises. You go through ASCON. There's an examination called ASCON, Administrative Staff College of Nigeria. It's still there. When you pass, you go through extended interviews. You go through commissioners' interviews, which you don't have in other places. It is only then that you have been well burnt like your gold, then you now feel that you have arrived. And that aspect of the job was one of the things that encouraged us to want to become in. Then the element of law. The issue of law came as a happenstance. In 1996, Ekiti State was created. Before then, I just returned from technical eco program. I went on TAC, TSC, of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I was there for 2 years. I was in Equatorial Guinea, Evinayong, that was where I was, for 2 years. And that was 94 to 96. Those were the times that one enjoyed some element of federal government because they were paid in dollars. So when we came back, I came in 1996, and that was when the state was created. So we were deployed, all of us, Ekiti people, either by force or by whatever, we were deployed. Those were those days to Ekiti, and Ekiti happens to be our fatherland. One of of course, it's not even one, the state that is most homogeneous in all the states of the Federation. Everybody's at Ekiti State, or unlike other states. So in 1996, we were deployed here, October 1. We came here, and there were a lot of things to be done in the state. It was a new state, a virgin land, so many things. Few offices, most times we were under the trees working. And there was already an existing university in Ekiti, which is then, or was then, UNAD, University of Ekiti. And the urge for more or additional learning, education came. And I had friends in the university, very close friends. They encouraged me, come and take some 3 years course and enjoy yourself in reading law. And of course, I was qualified. So we went there. And quite interestingly, I had a lot of good friends. The current head of service today, Ayodeji Abiodun, happens to be, we were in the same class. The head of service in Ekiti State, we were in the same class, and we did the course for 3 years. And by the grace of God, it was a good one. We enjoyed it. And one of the things that made me to enjoy it very well was the position of the vice chancellor there, Professor Oyebode. Yes, one of the foremost professors of jurisprudence in Nigeria. He's in the University of Lagos. He will get to the class as vice chancellor and a professor at 7 a.m. to teach jurisprudence for the next 2 hours. And if you are late, you cannot enter. You cannot come in. and we enjoyed it. So that was one of the things that I won't forget about that aspect of that program. And after that, law school came beckoning, and I didn't want to have BL and not have LLB. So immediately I had to go to the law school, and I went to Buhari, Abuja, for the 1 year law school. And today I am grateful to God that I am a barrister at the Supreme Court of Nigeria.
Wow. What was teaching like during your time?
Teaching?
Yes.
Well, teaching. I don't know which aspect of the teaching you're talking about.
How they're teaching,
at
like
the university,
at the coming from the primary school levels and secondary school.
I don't know. In those days there were no private schools, so many or so much. It was public schools. Of course, I went to public schools. I said I went to Wesley College Practicing School in Ibadan. It was a school of the Wesley College, Ibadan. So, and as a child of a lecturer, you can understand. So it was a very wonderful experience. And teaching and learning were taking place. It is not the kind of thing you now think about where people do what they call rote memory. You are prepared for exams these days, I think, so that because you want to do SS exam, GSS or whatever, you are prepared and taught to learn what will come out in the exam, not the experience of learning that will continue to be part of you for life. So these days, I think that is the difference. Those days, there were a lot of discipline. I remember my secondary school days at Ibadan. Of course, I started from CAC, Ibadan, and I went from there to Bishop Phillips because, like I said, the son of a teacher. I went to Bishop Phillips Academy, Iwo Road. And when my father was transferred again to Owo, because by that time Ondo State had been created, we had to come to Owo again. It was VP St. Louis, and I had to go to North East High School Owo. That was where I finished my secondary school. So, like I said, there were a lot of discipline. Of course, I remember the kind of experiences that we had, that your principal, your teacher, anybody can cane you. But I don't think it will happen these days. If anybody cane my daughter or my son, I will go to that school and probably harass the teacher and tell you I will take my children away from this school, because that is the situation these days.
Why did fire sale in first stage, man?
Well, it has happened because, like I said, one, discipline.
Yeah.
Two, people are becoming more enlightened. We come from a background that is African, a very Africanist background, where, for example, when I was growing up, like I just said, more than every other child of my father's brothers and sisters, almost all, lived with my father. They lived at one time with my dad. His senior brother or sister, or junior, of course, junior, lived with him. But in my own experience, I wouldn't allow my child to go and live with anybody, and I never allowed it. You stay in your dad's house, because I can focus and monitor and understand you. So, and then these days, people don't take too much care about their children. You won't be surprised that at age 1 or age 2, children are already put in boarding house. I hope I'm right. You start to see children they have parents, but they're already in the boarding house at the age of 3 or 4. And so that is the trend, and I think we are becoming more conversant or more concerned or more attached to foreign cultures. Yes.
Wow. Now you're a barrister. So why do you study law?
Law is a different experience entirely. It is a very different experience. As a matter of fact, I thank God that I studied law. Maybe if I didn't study it, I would have become a different thing entirely. Let me place it on record. Fayose, as he then was the governor of Ekiti State, made me a permanent secretary in December 24th, 2014. By 2015, for no clear reason, probably because somebody went and lied or told him a story, he just called the head of service then and said, "Go and retire, Ajiboye," because he felt he had the power to hire and fire. And of course, I was retired in 2018, 30th March. Yes, I got a letter. And I knew by the position of this document that he doesn't have the authority to retire me because I have not spent a number of years that I signed for. I'm not a politician. I'm a civil servant. I have a tenure to serve. And thank God I didn't have any blemish. And if I was going to have that, you take me through the appropriate processes of discipline. You didn't take me to the Civil Service Commission. You didn't query me. You just go and talk. And of course, knowing the position of law and being a civil matter, I checked off my constitution and I took the matter to court. Yes. Because knowing that it's a full matter, civil matter, which after 3 months becomes a dead issue. You cannot take it up, unlike criminal cases. I took the matter to court. I took it to the industrial court in Akure. And of course, I was vindicated. He doesn't have the right, according to specific aspect of this constitution. There is a section here that says that there are 4 sections. There are 4. Yes. 1. The governor shall have power to appoint 1. A commission. He says as Secretary of State Government, the head of service, is members of his office. That is in his the office of the governor. Yes, and permanent secretaries. That's the 4th one. But there was a provision there in that constitution that says yes, these people he has power to appoint. He also has the power to remove them. He must have thought that is the power he has. But there is a provision below it too that says, yes, with all these powers, you can only retire 1, the SSG, 2, your officers that are maybe assisting you in your administration. But you can't hire and fire a head of service. You cannot hire and fire a permanent secretary. I took that to court. And the court, like I said, vindicated me. So he had to, interestingly, by that time, he had lost election through the election of Eleka. So he had to bring me back to service. Because the court said we should go and settle out of court without any payment either from me or to him or from me to government, that everybody should bear his own cost. So that was how I came back to work. So, and that is answering your question about law. That is the beauty of the law, because I wouldn't have had that opportunity if I didn't study law. And it became a locus classical. It has never happened before. If you look at the document in your hand, I said a retirement like what? Like no other.
Yeah.
It has never happened that a person at that level was retired and reinstated. Now, if you look at that document again, when he was reinstated, he was also retired again, almost simultaneously. So, that explains the beauty of the element of the law. Then, he reinstated me, but I was not posted when Fayose came in, when Fayemi came in October 16 of 2018. I didn't have an office. So they did posting. I was not posted. Then they said, you have been retired. I said, no, I was not retired. Interestingly, the man who became the head of service happened to be my closest friend. He became the head of service then. He said, but I went to court. I have a court case. I have a court judgment. He said he didn't know. By that then, he had become the head of service. His name is Ayodeji. He's now retired too. He's in the federal service. I think he has a political appointment. And I gave him the document. He said, okay, he went to Governor Fayemi. He didn't come back after 4 or 5 hours. I waited for him. So the next or third day, he wrote me another letter that I've been retired again. He said, he signed it. And I said, under what? I said, because I said, no. I have a court judgment that has not been implemented. So we started another journey of restatement. Thank God, and I always say it's in that document. The then Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Wale Fakonda, now signed. We went to him through a close friend. He said, look at this situation. I said, okay, very wonderful man. Just smile. I said, okay. He said he would look at what he would do. And he went because he was so close to Fayemi and he could give all the advice on legal issues. I think he was able to convince the then governor, JKF, another wonderful man who is not irrational. And I think he was able to convince him. And in convincing him, I was reinstated again. And the letter had to go to my same friend to sign. What happened is this: the first letter was signed, retirement by the then head of service. It's a document. So that was the then head of service under Fayose. She was being Gaffa Shibuka, my friend too. So to reinstate me back first time, he was the one who again did the restatement. So when the second one came, the Jajayi, my friend, did the retirement, and he was the one again who had to write me to come back again. And so here I am since then. Sometimes in February 30 or so yesterday of 2020, just before the coming of COVID-19. So here I am now, ready to go.
Wonderful. To go. Really. As a permanent secretary, what was your challenge?
The role of a permanent secretary is generally to coordinate the ministry under his purview. He is in charge of the men and the materials, the plant, the equipment. He is in charge of the day-to-day running of the ministry. That is to say, he is the accounting officer. Everything starts and ends at my table as a permanent secretary. So, all departments report to me. All directors report to me. And all deputy directors now report up down there to the last person in the rung of the ladder, and up to maybe the clerk, the messenger, and the rest. And the permanent secretary is in charge particularly of policy making. They are charged with making policies for government. They carry out government policies on a day-to-day basis. And that's what we have been doing over the time.
Wow. So what do you set in place? What do you set in place as the permanent secretary?
What do I
set in place?
Well, you see,
you're leaving now, so what do you think people can mention or trying to go into also as tax on to tap into that gift of yours you are left behind?
Well, I thank God for the opportunity He has given me. I have worked in quite a lot of places. The most attractive aspect of me is in my human relations and capacity building. Human relations and capacity building. I am an officer that has never issued a query to any officer in the last 35 years. Not that I am working or dealing with perfect people, and not that I'm perfect. No. But most times you want to tap from the good aspect of officers, and when you think they are not doing well, you can invite them and talk to them. About this time yesterday, I invited a very senior director, a level 16 officer in the Department of Budget. And he sat where you are sitting here. And we had a long chat. And I said, I have noticed this about you. You know, and it was, lo and behold, it was not the way he felt about me. And it was not the way I felt about him. And it was, somebody who said, you have been my hero all along. He said it at least 3-4 times in the discussion. You have been my hero, and I've seen you as a hero. So what I am leaving behind here is my goodwill. I am proud to say that because of the places I have worked, in the Office of Establishments, in the Civil Service Commission, in the Teaching Service Commission, the Governor's Office, as General Administration, Political and Economic Department of the Governor's Office, and so on. The last posting was the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and here, Minister of Housing and Urban Development. I have been able to impact positively on people. I don't have the right to appoint people, but I'm proud to say today that by the grace of God, I have contributed happily to appointing nothing less than 100 or 200 people to the service. Yes, nothing less than that. Because by the time I was in the Civil Service Commission, Governor Fayose was there as first coming. He gave us authority to appoint, and we appointed quite a lot of people. And the rest is history. Those people are now grade level 14 officers. I met one of them this time last week, Tuesday. He said, "You don't know me." I said, "I know you." He said, "No, guy, you don't know me." I said, "But you are a civil servant." I said, "Yes. You are the one who appointed me." I said, "Oh, wonderful. What level are you?" Say, "I'm on level 14. You know. Even at this ramen thing, a lot of people have called me to say yes. They want to, they will be there because we're throwing a party, a big party for it. They said because we have impacted a lot of people. Even when I was in the Teaching Service Commission, we were able to also use that opportunity to assist people to employment, and we did employ the people by the approval given to us.
Wow, it's wonderful. Do you think the civil servants in Nigeria needs a reform?
Well, the civil service of Nigeria, yes. There have been a lot of efforts to reform the civil service in Nigeria. A lot of efforts. The boldest effort was that Decree 43 of 1988. We call it the Patrick Koshoni Committee that highlighted and brought out Decree 43 of 1988. That was when permanent secretaries became directors general. They become DG, even though it had to come back to becoming permanent secretaries again. That time, these ministries became professionalized. That is why today the admin man can rise up to his position. The accountant will rise up to becoming director. Before it was not like that. The accountant was under the admin class, but they have now risen up. They are even permanent secretaries and so on. And there is an aspect of it, the APER, upper forms, annual performance evaluation report, that has been in place, and I am aware that there have been a lot of efforts to rejig the APER, the upper forms, because it does not truly reflect the activities of an officer. 6 months when you are employed, for 2 years, 6 months, you fill this form, and it doesn't reflect the actual performance of your duties. At times, you can get a B or an A from somebody who probably have not seen you before. And if you are not satisfied with the B or C, you can even have seen people who just throw it away or tear it and say, no, I am not happy with this. You can also go to somebody else to get it filled by another superior officer. In that aspect, the position, how to properly monitor the activities of civil servants, has been an issue, and it is still an issue.
So what are those things you think, and where do you think that the government should come in?
Well, this is my field, and I'm proud to say this is my field. Government will do well to set in motion more practical means of evaluating civil servants. Here, for example, in Ekiti State, there is an attempt in recent times to build a perimeter fence around the secretariat. I don't know if you came in from that place, you saw a gate being erected. That would form a means of knowing when you go in or come out. That is one. In the private sector, people who clock, yes, your time is 8 to 6. If you come in, you slot in your card, it records your time in. And when you go out, so it captures your time at work. That is not in the civil service. I would have loved the situation we have that. So that, because the civil service is an open place. Observation, monitoring is not well handled. There are some people, I'm sitting here, I don't know who has not come to work today. I have about 88 staff members. How do I know who has not come to work today? Even if I go there every day, monitoring the offices, I may not be able to find out. So, and if I say what of this person, I ask my officers, sorry. So, if you can introduce that, like I said, then we can do actual monitoring of activities of civil servants.
What's your advice to the civil servants in your state and Nigeria?
Well, I always say this, and I think I stand to be corrected. The civil service is an opportunity for people like us.
How?
Because for every one of us that is here, they will say, for every one of us that is here, today is 6th of December. My salary or our salary will be paid. Government owes that. For every one of us, there are 10. I always tell my officers, there are 10 people outside there who want to become permanent secretary like me.
Right, sir.
There are 20 people like that who wants to be in the position of this my man, who wants to be a level 14 officer, who wants to be a level 16 officer, who wants to be a civil servant. Just like somebody is a degree holder, you will say, for God, even to come and be cleaning the office, let me just be, even come and give me temporary appointment, to come and sweep your office. If you advertise for a position today in the civil service, not less than 200, 1,000 people will apply for it because they have become overqualified. And the jobs are not just there. The jobs are not just there. But we are privileged. I continue to say it. We are privileged. And my advice to my colleagues is that this is always going to be their first point of call, the office, the job. And I don't play with my work. I don't condone people playing with their work who are not serious with their work. I don't condone it because this is what you have. This is your first point of call at any time. You may have shops outside, you may be a trader, but that trading, you probably got the money from your civil service work through loans and this and that. These opportunities are there, which you may not get. Soft loans, which you may not get from outside. So my advice is that we should take our jobs much, much more seriously.
Wow. So how do you feel retiring as a permanent secretary?
That is the icing on the sugar, or the icing on the cake, right? Yes. We started this job on level 8, 35 years ago. There is a Yoruba saying that says, sorry, by chance is growing old or growing up, because I wouldn't know the number of my colleagues or group of people that have either died before I got to this level, or that that were employed and have lost their jobs. So getting here, there are not less than 40, 20, 30 or 40 civil and public servants in Ekiti State. There are about 40 permanent secretaries in the state, thereabout. So to have risen and to be one of those is a special privilege of God. It is not by my making. I did not contribute anything to it. God made everything possible, and I'm grateful to God for this.
Wonderful. So what is your advice for today's youth and anyone looking up to as you as a mentor?
Hard work, and hard work. You see, today's youth, like you said, Yahoo, Abi, look at this, my brothers and sisters, they're working hard. Hard work. Come easy, go easy. James Haley Chase wrote one book like that. Come easy, go easy. I read all the books of James Haley Chase. Come easy, go easy. There's nothing like hard work. Whatever you're doing, be conscientious. Be strong about it. Work hard. There's no free manna anywhere. Because if you get it free, it will go free. I don't attribute anything to myself that I did, but I am saying that I'm able to get here because I rose through the ranks and I saw what I need to work hard and stay attached to my job.
That's a good one, sir. I appreciate that. We are coming to a time of election where people are running here and there. So before then, what do you think about changing of our money? So what do you think can be the impact?
About what?
The money was just changing in the 15th of this month.
You mean by the central bank?
Yeah, by central bank. So what's your take?
Well, there is nothing to say about that. The governor of the central bank has said by law that the currency should be changed or could be changed every 88 years. I think I'm right.
You're right.
So, if he goes ahead to do it, what's wrong with that? It is ordered by the law, existing law. So he has not done anything wrong. He can do it. All the other excuses given, I don't know anything about that.
So what is your word for our coming elections and for our leaders and the people who are participating until the...
Again, I am not a politician. People are telling me I will go and join politics after this. I don't know. I'm not a politician yet. And I don't carry a card for any party. But of course, I'm a political animal. I will have my sympathy. To the glory of God, today, Governor Ayodele Abiodun Ajiboye is the governor of Ekiti State. We hold him 100% allegiance. Of course, I am getting out in 2 weeks or less. I could have been saying something less. No, we owe him 100% allegiance because Ekiti is our own. And the beauty of it is that this is a man who has been part of us all along. He's not an imported politician. He was there, he schooled here, he lectured here, he has worked in various government offices here and have known him as far back as the time of Governor Ayodele Fayose. So, talking about politics generally, well, the last 7 years have been some kind of drawdown on the psyche of Nigeria, I must say the truth. And unless you don't want to tell the truth, we need a very vibrant leader. We cannot continue to go down to the abyss of being called the poverty capital of the world. It is sad. It's very sad. Everything, all the indices are pointing downwards. There are hardly anyone that is going upward. Dollar exchange, food purchases, petrol. Mention it. Why are we, Ayikoyama said, why are we so blessed? That's one of the books of Ayikoyama. You see, why are we so blessed? Are we so blessed negatively? I think we need a more active a man who knows what he's doing, not just the day-to-day politician, but somebody who has the thought and the interest of all of us in mind.
What is the hope of Nigeria?
Hope of Nigeria? Wow. The Nigeria of our dream is yet to come. It's yet to come. Nigeria is going higher. We are going to do much better than this. I am not a pessimist. I am optimistic about the future growth, development, and achievement of this country. So, the hope, it's a temporary setback. It's not permanent. And I know that from the dust, from the rubble here, we will rise to becoming a great nation in future, and not very far away from now.
Finally, your prayer for your people and the people that have worked for you so far for a long time and you're leaving them. So what do you think?
Okoso, now late. He sung, I love my fatherland. You know that song?
Yeah.
Which Way Nigeria? He sang that song so many years ago, and it's still very apt now. I love my fatherland, and I love the people of Ekiti State. I'm a very proud Ekiti man, very, very proud Ekiti man. I thank God for what I've achieved. I thank God for the people that have stood by me to achieving them. My family, my children, my wife, Interestingly, it's from your village.
It's honor, sir. It's honor.
Yeah, I love that. So, you see, and all the people that have worked with me in the last 35 years, I have worked with wonderful people. Yes, I thank God for everything that I've been able to do in life, particularly the people I have worked with. In the last 35 years, I never had cause, like I mentioned before, to give anybody a query. I have never had a cause I will be going to, out of this, there are times I work till 10, when I was even in the governor's office, 10 p.m. I never thought that I'm going to leave this office. Thank God, oh, I won't be seeing Awobiye again. Or I wake up tomorrow, I will go and be seeing Awobiye again tomorrow. This day, I never got tired of waking up every day to my work. I was saying people, on a Sunday, tomorrow is work again. I always looked forward to my work because I enjoyed doing my work, and that is why, topping your question, after this, I go to my chambers to go on with my life, with my law work. That is the beauty of it. In the 2.5 years that I was away, by Fayose, I opened the chamber, and it's still existing, so I'll just go back there after relaxing for some days and weeks, and then go back to the court. So working with people have been a wonderful experience. Yoruba will say, me. People have been so wonderful, because I used to tell them, you have been good, you have been wonderful, because without them, you would achieve nothing. You will achieve nothing, because you can't do it alone. This job you have come to do, you cannot do it without this people.
You're right.
That is the beauty of it, and I thank God. And I will continue to thank God. And I pray that they too, because it's a journey that has a beginning and it has an end. Everybody in the civil service will come to this point.
Like I end the way now.
Yes, well, God is it. It is not me.
Hallelujah.
So I thank you very much.
Your prayer for your people and for the Ekiti and for the whole nation.
Well, I have said it. I pray that Nigeria will go from bounce to bounce. Ekiti will very soon, one day, become the El Dorado of Nigeria. Ekiti is blessed. If you look at our logo, we have the land, we have the rivers, we have the mountains, we have everything. And it is a beautiful place to be. But with time, we will develop. And I pray that God will help this state and this country to develop politically, to develop financially, and to develop more socially. And God will help us and save us from all these insecurities that we have in the country, not in the state now.
Thank you so much, sir, for having you here.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Appreciate you, sir.
You're welcome.
Yes.